my fellow hunters, in this video we talk a little bit about changes of the elemental damage output from the switch-X after title update 2. This is a more practical video, so I'm showing you more in-game stuff and trying to show you how to understand the elemental damage output of the switch-X. So there was like already a Chinese version of Google Docs which showed more data than the translated one, because I used the node here, the data update from this website, which is Chinese version. And yes, so as you know, we got a few, for the elemental phials, increased elemental modifier of specific moves, which is the follow-up morph slash explosion. Also the full release slash got buffed for elemental phials, and also the end explosion got buffed for elemental phials. So in terms of elemental damage output, power phials and all the other phials are untouched, only affected to elemental phials. And as you can see, I already made a note here that for the most attacks, like for the phial burst explosions, additional explosions, not the main attacks with the high motion value, with the low, like the follow-up attacks from the full release explosion, how it's called. Previously it was on both phials 0.35, and now they increase it for the elemental phial 230%, which is huge, and now we doing more than double of the elemental damage on the elemental phials, and also additionally on top of that also the 45% multiplier from our elemental phial, which is, I don't know, like 4 times more than the elemental damage output of the power phial. Also for the phial bursts, the modifier is increased to 1.0, so it's like above of like 300%, which is a lot more. Yeah, so like you can see, it's like your elemental damage output will on every hit like the same, except on the full release slash attacks, because that's like 10 hits, and just gonna show you how to calculate this. So for the comparison, I've choose 2 different switch-X's which both have the same elemental damage output. It is the Rathalos switch-X, which is currently the first one. Yes, which I'm currently using with 200 fire attack, and also the Ufduna switch-X with 250 water attack. So both have the same sharpness. We didn't really care about the raw damage output or the affinity, because we didn't play with crit element. We also didn't have any set skills to make a precise approximation, and yeah, so we can compare it a little bit better. So I'm just showing you how to calculate, for example, the damage output of a full release slash, which is the main source of our damage output, but first of all only for the regular hits. So first of I just want to let you know that the elemental hit zone of the head of the training dummy is 30. So you can understand it a little bit better. So our element on both switch axes is like 25. So we first calculate for the power phial, which is 25, times our sharpness modifier, which is 1.15, times our elemental hit zone, which is 0.3, times our phial multiplier. We didn't have anyone, only raw wise, because it's a power phial. Our element mod for the most attacks is also 1. So we're doing for regular attacks 8.6 of elemental damage, which I can show you here. As you can see here, it is 8.6 always. And for the additional phial bursts, it is also 8.6, so it's unchanged, which is pretty strong. So if I'm now doing the additional phial bursts, so they are now heavily increased by damage output, they should do a little bit less. Like you can see here, the phial bursts for power phials only do 0.35 element, like the full release slash explosions. So we're gonna add this times 0.35 0.35. So we are doing like, which is an entire choke, 3 elemental damage on a 30 elemental raw headstone, which is crazy. 3 element with the phial bursts or the explosions of our full release slash, so which is an absolute choke. I'm gonna show you this. Let's doing a full release slash. As you can see, it is 3.0 for the hits. And now if you're doing the additional phial bursts, it is also like only 3.0, which you can see here. Regular attack is 8.6 and phial burst is 3.0. That's like only like 10% of our damage output. Like I've seen, it was like 30 damage and only 3 elementals, only 10% elemental damage output. So let's come to a little bit more interesting stuff, to the elemental phials. Please note that I didn't use any elemental buff decos. In this case, the damage output would be scaled a lot higher than I'm showing you in this case. So we just do the same as we've done previously. Let's go open the calculator. We have the same, yeah, we are just going to calculate first for the, let's say for the phial bursts, which also now have that 1.0 modifier with the 300% buff. So I also explained it here. The full release slash has 10 hits. And 2 hits with the element of 1 and 8 hits having 0.35 for the power phials and 0.8 for the elemental phials. So we are calculating for the total element mod, which is for elemental phial, the 2 from the regular attacks, and then from the rest 8 hits, 0.8 multiplier is in general 8.4 times 1.45 from our phial multiplier. So we are having a total element mod from a full release slash of 12.18, and for the power phial it is 2 plus the 0.5 element mod times 8 is 4.8. So as you can see, at the sum we have a total element mod from full release slash of 4.8 on a power phial and 12.18 on an elemental phial. So let's say we have same element on a power and the elemental phial, and we're doing a full release slash. The elemental damage output on the elemental phial is 300% or like 280%. We can calculate this. 12.18 divided into 4.8. So we see how much percent it's stronger on elemental phials. So full release slash does 253% damage elemental of the power phial when it comes to element, which is crazy. So 2.5 times more damage, which is insane. Yes. So let's calculate for the phial bursts. The 0.8 multiplier. Let's open the calculator. Oh, it's too complicated. So our elemental value is 25 times our sharpness, which is 1.15, times our elemental hit zone, which is 0.3, times our phial multiplier, which is 1.45, which we doesn't have on the power phial, and our additional elemental mod of 1. So we didn't have to change anything. So it is 12.5. If I didn't forget anything. Yes, 12.5. So if you're doing normal phial burst or regular attack, the amount of elemental damage will be 12.5. Let's gonna check it out. Yes, exactly. No. Oh, first calculation. Okay, you've seen it's 10.0. So on the regular phial bursts, it is also 12.5. And we are now going to calculate for the full release / additional follow-up text, or how it's called. So we are also adding the 0.8 multiplier. So we're ending up having 10 additional elemental attack on the full release /. So 8 times 10 is 80 plus our 12.5. We can calculate this. It's like 80 plus our 12.5, which is 25. So we're having 105 element, which is crazy. And that's like 2.5 times higher than on the power phial. Was just a short video to trying to understand the damage output. So I'm also going to make a separate video with entire weapon calculations and spreadsheets to understand a little bit better. So thanks for watching. See you in the follow-up video.